On today's episode, we're sitting down with Manuel Rios. We're going to talk about his life in the U.S. military, his life as a drug trafficker, and today, a business owner. Manny's going to tell us about his darkest times and how he overcame all these obstacles, including incarceration, to become the businessman he is today. Super excited today, guys. I'm sitting down with Manuel Rios. This is an old friend of mine, a shipmate. We served 2 tours in the Navy from 2001 to 2005. Manny, I'm honored to have you here.
Hey, Paulie, thank you for having me, brother. Humbled, and thank you.
I haven't seen you. I was just saying I haven't seen you in 20 years, but I forgot we did see each other one time a few years ago for a brief minute.
Yeah, it was brief, but yeah, I was going through some things at the time, but yeah, I remember.
I want to talk a little bit about the time before I got to know you in the military. You come from Compton. You grew up in a rough area. Tell me about that.
So growing up in Compton, it wasn't easy. It was rough. We struggled financially, and we were always around gang members, drug traffickers, and grew up kind of Chicano American, Mexican American style, right? My mom's actually not from here, from the country, this country, and we're first generation coming in, and she didn't have much to work with, right? And she did the best she could. God bless her. I love her. My dad did the best he could. God bless him. I love him too. But 5 years old, he left, took off. Don't know where he went. He was gone for quite a few years, up until a lot of things happened in between before I saw my dad again. We struggled a lot in regards to just at times having something to eat, right? We would sleep under a table with the blanket waiting for my mom to get home. She would work restaurants, as a waitress, and just doing whatever she could to make ends meet at the time. And with that said, my brothers and sisters, we were actually pretty tight growing up. But again, we had times where we had to split a cheeseburger, from this. I remember very clearly from this restaurant. It's called Elizabeth's Bakery, but they sell cheeseburgers. We get that cheeseburger.
Long Beach Boulevard.
Yeah, it's on Long Beach Boulevard.
I know the spot.
Yeah, exactly. It's in Linwood.
Yeah.
So we lived in Compton. It was Pine Street. I remember this very clearly. We were my mom had friends that would come in and check on us. She would leave us at home at night. She would come back in the morning. Did what she did, and she made cash at the time. And we struggled like that for quite a few years, from house to house, bounced around. And but what I do remember, that my mom was actually pretty tough. My uncles, they're from the Compton gangs, 2 local big Compton gangs. And I remember, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, right? We were trying out for this little league team there in Compton. Mm-hmm. I was with my older brother. We went to the park. It wasn't too far from the apartment on Pine Street. And we walked over there through the alleys. We got there, the coach is there, a couple other kids there. And, the parents left. You got all the kids. We were practicing. And then towards the end of the practice, the coach, which was one of the neighbors in the apartment complex, he said, "Hey, I want you guys to do some somersaults with your pants down." I was like, I didn't think nothing of it.
Right.
My older brother did.
Wow.
My older brother, he's like, "No, we're getting out of here." So we ran back home, right? My mother wasn't there. But when my mom got home, he told my mom. I remember this very clear. My mom, she made phone calls, and my mom was tough, I'm telling you. The next day, that guy's car was, he was destroyed, and to this day, that guy's arms were broken.
Wow.
And he was beat, and I don't know what else happened to him after that, but I do remember that.
That's one thing that's for sure.
Yeah.
Pedophiles and people who endanger children is not taken lightly, especially in the hood.
No, I mean anywhere, right? But especially in the hood.
Especially
in the hood.
In the hood.
You don't
It's
wanna
not
do
like they
that.
just call a cop and social services. Like, sometimes the neighborhood gets involved and things happen.
Neighborhood justice, yeah.
But wow.
Yeah, yeah. So
that guy, you never seen him again.
never seen him again. Yeah.
Wow.
He packed up and rolled out, or hospital after that, I don't know.
So growing up in that kind of environment with family members that were in gangs, I mean, I remember, specifically in the 90s, times haven't fully changed everywhere, but times have changed. I mean, just the climate of what it was like in the 90s in Los Angeles. Growing up in that kind of environment with family involved in that, how did that affect you as you moved forward into high school?
Oh, it affected me. I mean, atmosphere means a lot when it comes to your perspective in life, right? For me, it was either fight or flight, survival, right? My mentality was always in fear and survival, right? What's going to happen next? Where are we going to live? As we jumped around, I can't even count how many times we moved, honestly. Who's going to kick us out this time? Are we going to eat? Stuff like that, right? We would go to grandma's house on 127th and El Segundo. We go to grandma's house for Christmas or just kind of get together. They're playing poker, playing cards, dominoes. The whole family's there, and they would have us box against each other. Paramount Swap Meet, they have those boxing gloves,
Yeah.
Mexican and an American flag.
Yeah,
You ever see those hanging
Of
up?
course.
Well, we had those, and we would fight against each other. They would make us fight, and they would bet. They make us fight against
Wow.
each other. Yeah, yeah. So that's how we grew up, right? And then we'd just get beat, and then, my mom had enough sense to eventually say, you know what, I can't have my kids grow up in this, right?
Yeah.
So, again, I was raised around drug traffickers, and she met this guy, and for some odd reason, there was 1 year we moved to Lancaster, Avenue I. I don't know if you know where the prison's at in Avenue I, Lancaster. There's a prison out there. And only 1 year, when I turned 10 years old, I remember that very clear because they gave me a silver ring, and I cherished it, like it was, to me it was big, right?
Yeah.
And it had an initial with my M on it, right? And a lot of things happen out there. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was actually a kid. I really enjoyed just being out in the desert, hunting with a little BB gun and everything, right? But there was something else happening, right? That guy was a drug dealer, big time. He was running. I didn't know exactly what it was, and I can't pinpoint it. My mom, I'm sure she'll tell me eventually. But I do remember he would beat my mom, and he pulled a gun on my mom. We weren't there too long. It's again, under a year, about a year or so. But then there was a family that was always another couple and two girls, right? They were always with this man my mom was dating. So something was going on. But he pulled a gun on my mom, and then my mom, when he was sleeping, my mom grabbed the revolver and actually shot him in the foot. So she shot him in the foot. This is the last time you pull a effing gun on me, and the next time you pull it, you better pull the trigger.
Your mom didn't take no crap.
No.
She put it down.
She put it down. She shot him. And then, he went to the hospital. We grabbed our stuff, and we had to leave. Mom had a station wagon. I don't know if you remember those old station wagons, the Chevy station wagons.
Yeah.
Huge,
Pack everything
packed
in the
everything
back,
up.
plus the kids.
Yep. Came back to Compton, North Long Beach area. We grew up there for quite a few, for like 2 years, and she met another dude, and, and this guy already had a construction company. By this time, I'm already like 12 years old, 13, right? He had a construction company. I started working with him, right? That's how I started the concept of understanding of, okay, I got to do something to gain something, right? The area, again, wasn't good, so we went to Bell Gardens. And that's how we ended up in Bell Gardens. 8th grade in Bell Gardens, part of my 8th grade. And the first part, it was in Compton, Ralph J. Bunch Middle School. I saw a lot of crap there too. Saw a couple kids get shot in the head. Gangs, tagging crews, mainly gangs out there. You know, Bell Gardens, to me, that's when the new tagging crews and party crews were all introduced.
Yeah, a lot of party crews, yeah.
Party crews, Florentine Gardens, all that other stuff. Remember that?
Yeah,
They're
of course.
doing tanks and everything, yeah. I didn't get into any of that stuff, you know.
You played football, right?
I played football.
You
I played football. I was in a lot of sports. And I was never really into stuff like that, you know, partying or nothing like that. Never got into the little tagging crews. In fact, one of my nicknames was the Good Son. I don't know if you remember Macaulay Culkin, that movie, The Good Son.
Yeah,
well, however, for me, it was the opposite. I was actually a good son because I was always scared.
You weren't evil.
I wasn't evil like him, right?
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want to get into any of that stuff, you know. My brother did. You know, he got into the little tagging crews and he got into the little party crews and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it was always sports, go home, take care of moms. My mom was always struggling with something. And to me, that was my mindset. Okay, I got to fix what's broken in our family. Okay, my mom needs money. I got to go work, right? I got to go sell something. I have to do something. I have to hustle, right? So again, that survival mode, you know. We would get the food stamps every month. You know, back then, remember the food stamps?
Yep, the paper one.
Yeah, the paper one. You know, I would take that to school as I would buy lunch with, or whatever I could with it in the liquor store.
And get change.
Yeah,
me too.
You know, little booklets. Now they have the EBT cards. You know, you can't tell.
You can't hustle that way.
Yeah.
No what? You have dignity now because you
it's
could
politically correct. Yeah,
you could just swipe it.
You don't have to pull out.
We had to pull out like a book. My mom would be like, "Go get me a pack of cigarettes and then bring me the change." I'm like, yeah, it's different times.
Different time. Yeah.
In one word, when you think of your mom, because it sounds like she's incredible. She had her issues, but she had strength. Makes me think of my mom. One word.
Right now?
Right now.
God-fearing.
God-fearing. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's a great woman of God right now. I could say that. I see it firsthand. I seen before what she was, what she's been through, and who she is now. Yeah.
I love that, man. Let's jump into the Navy, man. Mm-hmm. So you're 17. I remember when you showed up to the ship. I was already on the ship, and I was older. I'm older than you a little bit, and I
turned 18.
I think you turned 18 when you got there, right? But you were young. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. But you were fit. I remember you were already swole, man. Yeah. Like you played football. Mm-hmm. You came to the ship, and there was only because I recruited out of L.A.
Okay.
And my grandmother, lived in Southgate. So I remember when you showed up, they were like, "Oh, there's another homie from the area. You were from Bell
You were
Gardens."
one of the first ones that went to go meet me.
Yeah.
I forgot who was my sponsor. I don't remember, but
came down and brought you onto the ship.
Yep.
I remember that. Brought you on board. And
I'm from Downey, also Norwalk, something like that.
Yeah, I recruited out of Norwalk. Yeah. But I was living in Southgate. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about that. You come from that environment. You grew up around the real stuff. You've seen, people be shot, and now you join the military, and it's wartime. What was that like?
Well, I remember in boot camp, they pulled us into the dorm or the berthing, right? They sat us in, nut to butt is what they would call it. Nut to butt, sit down, take seats. So we sit down. They bring this TV in front of us, right? Back in the days, they had these. They stroll in a TV.
Yeah, on rollers.
Tube, yeah.
Yeah.
They turned it on. They didn't say one word. They just said, "Watch."
Wow.
The first building was already down. They said, "Watch." And then as we were watching, we're thinking we're just watching what had just happened, not knowing that the second building was about to come out. Nobody even knew that, not even the drill instructors, nobody. So that second building came down. We were watching it live while we were sitting in boot camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in Great Lakes, you're in Chicago in Illinois, and it's happening while you're in boot camp.
Yep. They pulled us in, they sat us down because I don't know what the time frame was, but we were already in the dorm. Again, they sat us down. It was already pretty hectic. We're like, "What's going on?" You can feel the tension, and they didn't say one word. They just said, "Watch" and "shut up," and we're watching, and we can see the building coming down.
Did you know at that moment you were going to go to war?
No, I did not. Until afterwards, they said, they sent me to my C school, or I got my orders. We're already at the back end of our tail end of the boot camp, basic training. I think we had about a week left or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember very clear because after that, everybody was, I mean, even just the base itself was on edge, right? And I couldn't really sleep. I remember going through GQ. You know, you do your final testing, general quarters. You have to stay up. They come in at midnight. Boom. They
Yeah,
throw
battle stations.
Yeah, battle stations. Well, they actually had to put me on the gurney and carry me the whole way because, well, I was a master at arms in the boot camp group, right? So that's a lot of responsibility for 18, 17 years. I was at 17 at the time.
Wow.
So for me, I couldn't sleep, at all. And I was literally like a zombie, just walking, marching, and running. I'd fall out. Boom! I would fall out every so often, and they had to carry me. But yeah, I mean, after that happened, once you graduate your basic training, they give you a week off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to your A school, your C school, and after that, but came home. When I came home, they gave me orders. You're going to San Diego, guaranteed home port San Diego. You can't tell anyone. You have this much time to spend with your family. We're going to cut it in half, or maybe even less. You can't tell anyone where you're going. So that's what happened to me, when 9/11 happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never knew that story,
Yeah.
I was already on the ship, so I was on the ship when it happened. But I do remember the day you arrived, and
It was so fast, dude. It was a shock. It was a culture shock for me because they actually flew me in. What's that plane called? The COD?
the COD, yeah.
The COD. They flew me in on the COD, and I was like, what the heck is it?
It got real now. Let's jump into when you get out of the military.
So after the military, again, San Diego, Tijuana, it's right there, not too far. And I found myself going back and forth to Tijuana, obviously love my culture, and just going out there, started partying eventually, right? Going to the clubs, dancing and whatnot. And, I met someone, and that someone, she became my wife, right? But in that process, I started drug trafficking, right? I made that decision to, let me make some quick money. I couldn't find a job right away, so I started drug trafficking. Why? To me, it wasn't a big deal. I'm not using it. I'm not selling it. I'm just taking it from this side, point A to point B. I saw myself like a transporter. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
It was pretty stupid. I'm not glorifying any of that stuff, by the way. But that's how I saw myself. And, I had the cojones to do it. And when I did it the first time, it was easy. I said, okay, I'm back home, Tijuana, LA, drop it off. They pick up the car. I come back home. Before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I already had $5,000-$6,000 in my pocket. Okay, let's do it again.
Let me ask you, was it with drug trafficking? Was it the money? Was it the rush that you got away with it? Was it the women? What was it that?
Yeah, it wasn't the women. It was, at first, it was survival. Again, so you have to go back to my childhood. I was in survival and fear mode. And for me, at that time, that fear already kind of wore out. It was more survival, right? And I started to want things. I want a car. I want this. I want that, right? The desires that you see on social media, everybody wants, but they don't show you the struggle, right? There's a huge facade out there, right? They don't show you the struggle. And I was doing it illegally. I'm not glorifying it by any means, but our culture, our Mexican culture, glorifies drug traffickers in the music, right? And for me, you're in that moment, and you're in that moment, you get lost in that moment, you get brainwashed, A lot of people, they sit there, they listen, they party, but they don't do it. Well, I listened, partied, and I did it, right? And I started living that lifestyle. Well, I can do it again. Then your ego, you get an ego boost. I can make this much money. You know, by the time I was 21, 22, I had 6 cars.
Wow.
You know, like, what am I doing with all these cars?
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, but you just start doing things like that. I gave my mom a truck. I give her a car. And then I saw it as a way where I can help out other people in my family, but at the same time, I'm harming a whole bunch of other people. It was only marijuana, but now it's legal. That's crazy to me, right? But then I did that for a few years, right? I did other things as well. And again, marrying into a family that is generating income, you know, through illicit means, and you're marrying the oldest daughter, you know, and they're going to expect something from you. And especially if she's the one managing all the cash. If she's the one has to, you know, she has to go pick up the cash. She needs somebody that's her bodyguard that she can trust. So for me, okay, there's an opportunity as well. It wasn't opportunistic, it just happened, right? And for me, I wanted to make more money. Okay, this is family. Okay, I'm going to protect them. This is my wife. So, okay, let's do this. And she explained to me what her dad did. Then I started meeting other people, and that's how I really got involved.
Now, her dad, your father-in-law,
At the time, yeah.
things didn't end up so well for him. Tell me about that.
Well, for him, see, he wasn't my boss at the time while I was drug trafficking. It was someone else. He was a coyote. So his main source of income was, you know, human trafficking, right? And he's the one that explained to me, he said, there's one, in Spanish, I'm going to say it in Spanish and I'll say it in English. So una cosa es envenenar la gente y otra cosa es ayudar la gente. So he said it's one thing to poison people and it's one thing to help people, right? Because again, when a criminal, they try to justify what they're doing. And in this case, to me, it made sense. You know, he was mad at me when I got arrested for drug trafficking, right? We'll get to that in a bit. Because that's exactly what he explained to me. And he wanted to post my bond, whatever it cost, he wanted to do that. But in between, I had to do a lot of other things. I had to protect the family. I had to go work for him, you know, make money. Again, I had to do a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, I'm not proud of, right?
So let me ask, just hearing that, just so I'm clear, it's one thing to poison people. It's another thing to help people. He's meaning because as a drug trafficker, you're poisoning people.
Correct.
But as a coyote, you're helping people by bringing them to a better opportunity.
Correct.
To this country from
a different
interest.
country.
Okay.
Correct. He was known as a good coyote, right? And he was infamous for being in business for 25 years. And he was well known in the TJ area, right? You may have heard some songs. But that does not justify anything. You're still breaking the law.
Right.
Right? And he would never really get into drug trafficking. You know, a lot of cartels, he was a freelancer in a sense. Cartels would come in and say, hey, we need you to do this. He would say, no, we need you to do this. So he had to pay more money to keep them away from him. He had to pay more money, right, to the government, whoever it was. You know, I won't know names, but yeah. So he was protected at the time, you know. And then as governments change in the illicit world, things change, right? Prices change. So it costs more. You know, they want you to do more things. But for me, I wanted more, and I wanted it now. I wanted it fast. I started going behind his back, reaching out to other guys that I know that were drug trafficking. And then, mind you, this was weed, and now it's legal, right? At least that's what I thought. But that's what I got arrested for, was weed. And we can get to that in a bit.
Yeah. What happened to your father-in-law eventually?
Well, like I said, he denied, you know, just having, you know, we call them mules, having mules to just backpack and go through the border. You know, mind you, it's East Coast, East County, San Diego. I was working all those fields out, all those desert fields. I was running back and forth. I was in shape, so I would go back and forth, just guiding people. I would jump in different vehicles, drop off vehicles already set up, for him. Binoculars. It was pretty hectic. That was a thrill, but again, it was never the money. And for me, it was seeking that thrill, and I knew it was wrong.
Was there something intoxicating about getting in tune with your culture and then seeing our government on this side a certain way? And did that help propel your choices especially in trafficking people over here?
I always knew it was wrong. I always knew it was wrong. It was a cat and mouse game. And the deeper you get into it, the more brainwashed you are. I was brainwashed. I brainwashed my own self to do that stuff, man. I'm not glorifying any of it.
Yeah.
I don't condone any of my actions. And everything that happened to me at that time and afterwards was my fault, right? That's my decision. I wouldn't even say it's a mistake. I made a decision to do that, and I did it.
And it was mainly just money then?
It
wasn't
just money.
About...
No. I love my country.
Okay.
I love my country. I love America, the opportunities I have now, and what America has given me right now, you cannot have that any other place in the world. Again, that's the time, and we'll get into it a little bit deeper, but that's the time that if I could go back and change that, I would. But then again, you have to think, it would not make me who I am right now. But the reason, so the good and the bad, you have to be grateful for it.
Right.
I have to, right, in this sense, to find peace with me.
Yeah.
And forgive myself for doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I have kids that I have to be an example to, right? I have two boys. I have a son that's 20 years old. The other one's 11. And I have a little daughter. So a lot of, when you asked me, again, I said I was humbled, because I've already died twice, in a sense. I've been given 2 more opportunities that should have already taken me out, man. I should not be here right now, right? So for me, I give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, first of all, right? And that's where I'm at right now. I just want to be a better person, and through my trials and tribulations, the stuff that I went through, how I can inspire. But I'm an open book.
You got caught for the things you were doing, and you got incarcerated. What was that like?
So because I wasn't completely termed out of my military career, I ended up in Miramar Brigg.
Oh, you were still active duty.
I ended up in Miramar Brigg.
How did I miss? Oh, because I got out of the service before you.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. I didn't. Oh, so you were still connected. Oh, wow. So you went to the Brigg.
I went to the Brigg. Yes.
Wow. What was that like? We got it. Yeah. How were you treated?
So you have your pedophiles and you have everybody else, right? And it's literally that. There's a line. There's a sexual abuse, sex offenders, go over here and you go over here, general population. There's different divisions. I think I was birthing B, something like that. Prisoner 206, that was my number, right? So that, honestly, wasn't as bad as people might think it is. Because for me, it was a wake-up call from God to say, hey, you're going to continue on this path, you're going to end up dead, but I'm putting you here right now. Let me just go back a little bit. In Chicago, I got saved as a Christian in Chicago when I was 17, 18 years old, right? Okay. So that's why I believe in Christ a lot, and in time, there's a lot of reasons for me to have gone the wrong path in so many other ways. It could have been even worse, You know, I had all the channels to do so, but I chose not to because something inside of me was always telling me, no, 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 go this way. I'm like, no, I got this. Every time I lean on my own understanding, it got me in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, going back to the Brigg, it was like boot camp. It was like boot camp every day, and physically, it was easy for me.
Structure.
It was easy. I mean,
Going to jail just felt like
and
wake up at this time.
And it got to the point where I became really good friends with the guards, and the guards were like, hey, asking me about workouts, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, hey, Manny, we became friends, dude. It's just like, again, I'm not glorifying any of this, but the fact is I accepted what I did, and I was separated from that mentality, from that world, where I had that pressure to perform, to do certain things, you know, because I'm, you know, married into a family. I got the oldest daughter. There's certain things you have to do. At least that's what I thought, because there was no one really leading. And, you know, when I was called, hey, how you doing, suegro? Hey, son-in-law. Oh, yep, yes, sir.
Yeah.
To me, it was like struck military. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know, and I was always with him everywhere he went, you know.
And I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's funny. Only certain people could relate to when someone talks about being incarcerated and go, well, you know, it felt like boot camp. I mean, I think veterans out there could get a laugh at that. I mean, when you think jail and incarceration, most people would be like, wow, that's like the worst thing. And then it's like, well, felt like boot camp. So that just made me laugh because I was thinking, I guess you get up, go to chow, work out. But you had God.
I had God.
You even through anything bad you were doing, you always had. That's important. Even when you made decisions to do the wrong thing, you still consciously knew you were doing the wrong thing. You had God in your life. So let's skip to after that now. Let's put the incarcerations and all that behind us. Let's skip forward. Mm-hmm. Manny, we'll even go past your road to getting here, where you're at today, a husband, a father, a Christian, a hard worker, and a fitness, I like to say guru, but I mean you're really
call myself a guru, but
you're But in all honesty, you're in it, man. You get after it every day in the gym. I follow your socials. I get inspired.
Thank you.
You know, and once you hit 40, man, anybody getting after it like you, that's impressive. So let's talk about that. Where you're at today, where your mindset's at.
With God behind me, I can't be stopped, dude. That it sounds crazy, but I just do not feel that I can be stopped in a sense where, like, the potential that I have now, what I understand what real power is that we all have inside. It's limitless power, dude. It's, again, you have to tap into it, and I tap into it in the morning. Before you start your day, right? And am I hitting 1,000? No, I'm not. But I strive to do that every day, right? I pray, I get up. If my wife goes to the gym in the morning, you know, I'll go after her because someone has to be there to watch the baby. And but it's just consistency. Consistency, it's long suffering, and understanding that it's a lifestyle. It's not a fad, and it's not trending. Oh, I don't feel like it today. Well, you have to go.
Every day.
Every day. Every day. And I'm not just saying it because, you know, you guys hear that in social media and it sounds, you know, good to say. No, it's the truth. This is what I do every day. This is how I live, right? What you see is what you get. And I'm even hard on my wife. You know, and I shouldn't be. I shouldn't have a softer, you know, heart towards her. But the way I grew up, it was just no excuses. You didn't have time for depression or this and that. Depression is a luxury. Think about that. Depression is a luxury. We grew up in a time where, okay, what? No, get up, go.
Right.
You know? So I didn't think like that. You know, my process was, okay, you survive. Okay, get it. And there's a problem. Find a solution. Fix it. Move. Next.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of how I live right now, it's like that. But I always pray for more compassion because in the life I've lived, my heart has been like a rock in a lot of ways. And that that affects my family. It affects how I express my love towards others. Because I don't see a birthday as a birthday. It's okay, it's another day. Next. But you should actually stop and enjoy that day because that person was born for a reason. God put him here in your life to enjoy that day with them, right? Yeah. And that's what I'm learning. I'm actually learning how to love now with my wife because she loves me so much, right? My daughter, oof, forget about it. She just, she melts my heart.
Yeah.
That's what God is teaching me. You went through all that. Hey, now you're going to be a big old softie.
Yeah. It's really hit me what you're saying, bro. I'm trying to get more in touch, and compassionate with people and more importantly with myself.
Yeah.
But it's important to put that kind of energy out there too with people around us. And it's hard though.
It's very hard.
It's hard,
very
man.
hard because we live in a society where, especially for us men, man, it's hard to express yourself. And when you do, it's going to, more than likely, it's going to come back to bite you in some way, shape, or form. At least that's what I would think. And you don't want to seem weak, because that weak kid, soft kid was always punked when you were growing up. Was always, you show strength. You suck it up. You move forward, and that's true in so many ways, but
it is. It's still important. Like,
yes.
I don't want to let all that go.
No,
I feel like we're in a society where we've let that go, and it's hurt us. Yeah. It's important, but we could find there's got to be a 75-25.
There has to be some kind of balance. I mean, because guys like us, Paulie, I tell you, we didn't have a rite of passage to say, hey, now you're a man. I didn't have that guidance. My dad left when we were young. He came back into my life when I was 13, but, he was working, living somewhere else, and we would just go see him every Friday to go get some money, But once I understood now, I love you, Dad. Once I understood that he was only making $12, $13 an hour for 5 kids, come on, man. You can't survive.
Right.
I can only see the pressure he had in his head. My mother, the pressure she had taking care of 5 kids by herself. I see that now, and I appreciate them so much, regardless of what happened. It doesn't matter. I love them, and I forgive them. A lot of you guys should, too. You guys carry a lot of resentment towards your parents because you think your life should be a certain way. No, it's not their fault. That's all they know. They did the best they could. You should forgive them and love them and move forward. That's what I did. That's how you heal. You go back. What happens to you between the day you're born up until you're like 17, 18, before you leave your house, that's not your fault. Anything that happens to you after that, that's your fault. Take accountability for it. A lot of times, if it's out of your control, you can't help it. But again, take accountability 100%. But men do not have that rite of passage nowadays, right? We don't know, hey, you're a man now. You don't know that. You don't know, hey, I only understood that when I went to jail. I'm going to go back to that. Because I have to face a judge, and I had to really accept 100% accountability. And you know why I was at peace while I was in there? It's because I accepted accountability for myself, and I wasn't running from anything anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't hiding. It's like, hey, this is me. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I made the decisions. Yes, I did this, I did that. I'm guilty.
You mentioned that go-getter mentality. How do you use that mindset with your business today?
See, Paulie, the go-getter mentality is everything. That mindset. In fact, I have a reminder that I keep with me. I don't carry it with me everywhere, but I know where it's at. I can pull it out anytime I want a reminder. I was making anywhere from $6 to $8 an hour, in 2007. And I remember that because that drives me. Even though I had the skill to do more and I understood I could do more and I know that I'm worthy to receive more, I was turned down from so many jobs that I applied. I was passed on to someone else in so many ways. And when I walked from Long Beach Boulevard all the way up until Florence, and you're talking about a span of a few miles. You know, I applied to a lot of different companies, and I got turned down a lot. And again, I carry that pay stub with me as a reminder. And life is not what you see on Instagram or social media. You know, they don't show you the ups and downs. They only show you the glitz and glamour. That's not what life is about. As an entrepreneur, a business owner, you're going to go through a struggle. You're going to go through a lot. You know, I failed once, twice, 3 times before. I wouldn't call myself successful yet, but I am in so many ways, right? I guess I'm too humble and modest about it. But again, you're going to fail. That's part of life. But it's how you bounce back. It's how you bounce back, and your perspective must change. You must change, and you will prevail, right? And that's what happened to me. And that's where I'm at today, and I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning. I'm going to continue to grow. My business is going to grow. You know, thanks to it's not just me. It's the guys that work with me. I love those guys. You know, a lot of people that have helped in my road to success in so many ways.
Manny, I can't tell you how grateful I am for you coming on the platform. It's great sitting down with you. It's great seeing you, man, and learning so much that I never knew. You know, we spent those 4 years, felt like an eternity during that time deployed. But, you know, I didn't know your life before too much, and we lost contact, you know, after. So to hear about this journey, you mentioned a second ago, you said, I'm successful. Well, maybe I'm just being humble. I'm not that successful. Your story is success.
Thank
so
you.
many ups and downs.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank you for being open and sharing this stuff. But I'm not going to let you off that easy. Every guest that comes on the show, I ask them to do something at the end. I ask them to look into that camera over there. For somebody that's watching this that relates to you, that maybe young kid living in Compton, you know, that's watching this, life is like yours. Hit them with some knowledge. What do you have to say to them to inspire them to maybe pursue what it is they want to do?
Find a way, follow your passion, but you have to make money as well. We live in an economical world. Make money with doing what you love. Learn new things, make mistakes, but as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical. Don't do what I did. I'm not glorifying anything by any means. I made these decisions because they were bad decisions because of a lot of things that happened in the past. But again, you don't have to go through what I did, because I'll tell you right now, I don't know anyone that has worked as hard as me. So many hours, you know, went through a lot of different things. It has been an uphill climb. I have been trying to get those years back. And I will never get that time back. We are all on borrowed time. All of us.
Man, Manny, thank you so much, brother, for coming on, man. Yeah. I'm going to close this out. It's truly an honor, man. This was great. Manny's been through a lot. He was open today, opened up about a lot of things he did that he isn't proud of. But where he's at today, he's very successful. He's a family man, husband, father, business owner, and he's out there getting it. Manny's chasing his dreams. I'm chasing my dreams. Go chase yours.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.